Hey, what's up, guys? This is PBnJ. We have a big weekend for video games this week. Tonight was the Video Game Awards, and this weekend in Anaheim is the PSX experience. Uh, Brian's going to be flying in tomorrow, and we're going to be checking that out. So, what's up, Brian? What's going on?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, so right now we're watching like the very end of the awards show, and they just announced um, Zelda Breath of the Wild as like Game of the Year. I've started playing the game a little bit, and it does look and play pretty like nicely. But I'm still only like half an hour in, just because I want to catch up on the other games first before I play this one. Um, Before I sink like 100 hours in the game. But yeah, I'm also looking forward to coming down this weekend, hanging out with you guys, and going to PSX. So this is what I think the fourth year now that they've done PSX, and my brother and I, we've gone to all four of them. Well, we're going to go to the fourth one, but we've gone to all of them since Vegas to San Francisco to LA or Anaheim. It's always a pretty good show to go to. It's pretty small. It's all for PlayStation fans, and there's some, usually they have like a Saturday morning where when they do the keynote. So this year they're not doing it, maybe because the Game Awards is kind of taking over and showing a lot of the game trailers and new announcements. But from what I understand, they are doing something tomorrow night, but they didn't make that very clear, so I didn't plan around like going there, so it's gonna suck, but I'll be watching it from my phone at the airport Friday night.
Yeah, I know when they all they said was it was kind of dirty what they did, right? They just kind of said, "Oh, there'll be a special event," or not even a special event. It was just like there's gonna be something Friday for early bird. If you got the early bird ticket,
Right.
you can go pick up your badge Friday night. And they said it'll just be an extra something. That's all they really said. And it turns out it's gonna be I guess a mini keynote.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we were like, oh, what? That's messed up. A lot of people who are traveling, like Brian, didn't make their travel, and they just announced this like 2 weeks ago, right?
Right.
Like
Well,
real recently.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, they did put that announcement like what you just described on their site, when registration opened, but they weren't clear about it.
Right.
And then last month they had the Paris Games Week, so they did most of their big announcements already. So yeah, it's a lot of people. I saw on the comments where when they announced like what the schedule is, they all said like they were a little bit disappointed that they didn't have the full plan, before they bought the tickets, because then people like me who are flying in, they can't plan around it. And the other thing is you have to be early bird too, like you said. So even if you bought the tickets late, and you didn't get early bird for Friday, then you still can't go in to see it. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird how they did that at the very last minute.
Yeah,
But
yeah. A lot of people online were upset about it. Saying, oh, they would have flown in a day sooner, uh, or maybe not even, or not even that, but like last year, the keynote on Saturday morning was kind of like the big deal. Everyone wanted to go to that, so people were, they're gonna fly in, make sure they're gonna make their plans to get in line really early, like six, maybe 5, 6 in the morning. But now that there is no keynote on Saturday, it's like you can just go in and when it opens at 10, so they have their plans all based around that, and then now it turns out that's not going to be the case. So they were kind of upset, and I understand. I mean, if you're flying in from out of town, you kind of want your agenda all set, and even me, who I live down the street from the convention center, that I was bummed out because I was really looking forward to it. Last year's was really good,
yeah,
and I got there. I want to say 6:30 a.m. and it didn't start till 10 or whatever, but it was worth it. Right? They had the huge auditorium set up and uh, announced. They announced what God was it? God of War? Did they announce it was God of War was announced there, right?
I don't know about God of War, but I know that they did announce
Last of Us.
Last of Us and the Uncharted Lost Legacy. So
Right.
those were the two big ones that they ended the show with.
Right. Um, so they had these huge announcements, and they played all the trailers up on the screen. There's a bunch of huge screens on there, and it was really really cool, and there was like thousands of people in there. So I was looking forward to it again this year, and they're not going to have it. So a little bummed about that. It's still going to be a good show. Um, and then we were joking that we can sleep in. We don't have to get up super early and and be torturing ourselves out there. We just get up and just get there at a normal time. Uh,
Right.
but still, like last year was the first one I went to. Brian and his brother went to the one in Vegas and one in Frisco, and I liked it a lot. It was a lot of fun. They had a lot of games to play, even though it's PlayStation only. You might think that they don't have too much to show, but that's not true. They had booths everywhere, and the booths were really big. The Uncharted one was really cool. Remember, it was they made it look like you were on like in a cabin or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they had a big one for Resident Evil. The MLB The Show had their booth look like a sports bar. And you could go in, order food, and get a drink, and then sit down at your table. But then at your table was a demo for the game. And Horizons was really big. I don't know if it was a booth. It was just a big area. Remember?
It's just a big area, and then there's that robot. I haven't played a game in like 6 months, so I forgot what they're called.
Oh, is it the Watcher or Seeker?
Yeah, Seeker or Watcher, one of those.
Yeah, and they're walking around. And so we got to play Horizon last year, and got to play other stuff. We got to play like, For Honor, and we got to play a bunch of the VR stuff. They had a bunch of VR games there, and it's 2 days. And at first I was kind of worried that there wouldn't be a lot to do in the 2 days, but there was a ton of stuff to do. The first day, Saturday last year, was a keynote, obviously, and then there was a lot of panels during the day. And then at night they had the Capcom Street Fighter V tournament, which was really cool. I'm not into the esports, or I don't really follow it, but it was just fun to watch. The finals for the championships, and it was a big deal. The winner got was it 250,000?
Yeah.
So it was a big deal, big tournament. It was like the big finale for the year and stuff. So that was. And then just to watch it with that many people, getting super excited, it was really cool. And it was a packed house too. It was hard to find seats. And then on Sunday we spent most of the day walking around playing all the demos and stuff. And some of those lines can take a long time, especially for the VR games. Right? Some of those are like an hour or two. And
yeah. The best one was the Star Wars.
Yeah,
one, right?
the Star Wars one was really cool. I think the other ones we played were like, yeah, this is fun. These are cool. But that Star Wars one, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. This is what VR is all about right here.
Yeah, and I don't know if the person who helped you told you this, but when I got the headset, the person who was helping me was like, turn around, like in the beginning of the game, and when you turn around, you'll see a R2 behind you on the X-wing. So that was really cool.
Yeah, no, they didn't tell me that. So I remember afterwards you told me R2 was right behind you. I was like, damn. It's like, I didn't even think about it. I was in the cockpit.
Yeah.
Maybe this year they'll have it again, and I could try again this year. And it's also cool too. I don't know if they do this at E3. Brian's been at E3 before; he can tell me. But they had a couple beer stations throughout the floor. You had a couple beer stations, and then you had the MLB The Show had beer, and so we were in line. And there's a couple times I stepped out of line and went and grabbed a beer. Did they have that at E3?
No, not that I remember. I mean, so E3 is usually at the LA Convention Center, and they have their typical food booths, that's built into the convention center. But I don't remember them selling beer. I know every year they do the MLB booth, it's always like a bar, like you said, and there's always beer there. And I think there was like a station that's outside of MLB that also sold beer, right?
Yeah, there was.
So yeah, so with E3, I don't think they had that. It was like, when I went, it was not open to the public at the time, and so it was like, it's all business. Like you're there to demo games and stand in line and get swag and stuff. But I don't recall them selling beer at all at E3.
Yeah, this show is a little more laid back. I think there was probably just because it's just PlayStation and so they had the two beer stations and there was one over. I think we were by the there was a VR game that was in space. I don't remember what it was called. I remember there was a beer session over there too.
That's perfect, right? You get a little bit buzzed and then put on the VR headset.
Yeah.
That's very good for you.
Yeah, and last year's panels were what you had the keynote, and then after that we had a Death Stranding panel with Kojima, and they talked about the game, and they didn't get into details really. It was just how the game came about. Kojima talked a little bit about the split from Konami and how they teamed up with Guerrilla Games to use the same engine that they used for Horizon for the game. So that was really pretty cool. And then after that, they had a panel for Last of Us 2, and they went through the background behind that. And I don't know if they did it. Yeah, they did Uncharted. They did Uncharted, I think, as well. This year looks like there's some more panels, probably because they have to make up for the lack of a keynote. So I guess we can go over them real quick. Do you have the page open for the PlayStation experience?
Yeah, I'm bringing it up right now.
Okay, I got it open right here. So,
Sure.
it's like Saturday at 11. There is a panel for Accounting for Accounting Plus, Squanch Games, and Crows.
What's that?
It looks like it's the co-creator for Rick and Morty. His name is Justin Roiland, and the designer for the Stanley Parable, William Pugh, examine the comedic opportunities of VR. And it looks like that's just what's just gonna be I guess it's just a discussion about VR games and what these guys can do with it. Those are comedic. Stanley Parable is a comedic style game, and Rick and Morty, of course, is a cartoon. So I guess that's just them talking about VR gaming for an hour, I guess. Could probably skip that one. I don't really know these guys, and they're not. I don't know if they're gonna be debuting anything.
Yeah, that's cool. They'll give us time to, get settled in. Get our badges and everything.
Yeah. They walk around, check the floor out a little,
right?
Kind of get our bearings. At 12:30 is Media Molecule presents Dreams. And I guess they're gonna have the studio directors Siobhan Reddy, Mark Healy, Alex Evans as they look at the development of Dreams. That game seems like it's been at E3 for years now.
Yeah. So Media Molecule, they're the guys that brought Little Big Planet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Tearaway.
Okay, so they're kind of big names in the PS world.
They are, and I think I saw the game trailer at the Game Awards for this game. It just shows a lot of stuff, but doesn't really tell you what it is. So I'll be interested to see what this is. But like with these kind of games, I don't know. I never got into Little Big Planet. I did play Tearaway on a Vita, and I liked it, but I don't know if I can keep. It's really creative. Like they use the way designer games are. It's awesome, but it's kind of like with Little Big Planet. It's like one of those games where you create your own levels and you share it. So in a way, you can play it infinitely, right? I guess Mario, they try to do the same thing with Mario Maker, where you can create your own levels and upload it, and you can have people play it and stuff like that. But with this game, Dream, I don't know. It's hard to tell from what I saw what what this game is going to be about.
Yeah,
So
I don't really know either. I've seen their stuff a few times, and I still don't get
yeah,
it. 2 o'clock is IGN ranks the top 10 PlayStation games of all time, and it's the podcast. The Beyond crew is gonna be there, and they're gonna figure out the 10 best PlayStation games ever. And that sounds like it could be fun. See what they come up with. I do you still listen to that podcast or no?
yeah,
Yeah.
I do. So based on the last podcast that I listened to, which was early in the week, Monday or Tuesday, they said that each of them put down two of their favorite games, and they created some sort of like point system, and then they said that you'll be expecting some games on there, and then there'll be some games that they bring up where you'll be thinking like, what the hell? Yeah. So we'll see.
I wonder if they'll have like the crowd help vote and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like they listed some of them in the description, right? It's like Uncharted 2, Final Fantasy 7, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Like those are awesome games.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid. Even like more recently, like Horizon. So there's plenty of games to choose from. So if I had to choose a few games, like 10 games, I might need more than 10.
Oh yeah, and it sounds like it's gonna be all PlayStation. So that's really hard. I can come up with 10 right off the bat. For one system.
What about for Xbox?
Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4, Gears of War 1, 2, 3, Forza.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You're just mentioning all the exclusives.
Yeah, I don't really know. I can't do it for Xbox. PlayStation, yeah. I had Xbox and I had the 360, but they weren't really my main consoles to play. But I had played PS1, 2, 3, and now 4, and so those are the ones I spend my time. So I can go down the list on those, and just to come up with 10, that's gonna be hard. I want to see what they come up with. That's gonna be some fun to see. And then it looks like at 3:30 is a game by Sucker Punch called Ghosts of Tsushima. Have you heard anything about that one?
No, but I have seen images for the game. It looks awesome. So Sucker Punch is the developer who made, was it Infamous?
Infamous, yeah, Infamous.
Yeah, so it might be an open world kind of game. But this game, it looks very Japanese. So it looks cool from the images. So I'm curious to hear more about this one.
Yeah, I played Infamous Second Son. It was really good. It was a launch game for PS4, and I like that game a lot. So yeah, if it's by Sucker Punch, I'm definitely interested. I haven't heard of this game, Ghost of Tsushima. I'll probably look it up a little, see if I can find some stuff. But if it's by them, I trust it. Their games are Infamous. Those are some good games. So it'll be cool to see what that panel is all about. And then at 5, I guess these two panels are really just one big Naughty Dog. At 5 o'clock is the Uncharted 10th anniversary, and then at 6:30 is Last of Us Part 2. Meet the Cast. These look like they saved the biggest panels for last, and of course, I mean both of these games are two of my favorite games, game series ever. So I'll be chilling watching these just to see what's going on. And it looks like Greg Miller is hosting the first one. Is he hosting both of them or just the Uncharted?
Yeah, so I also listen to Kind of Funny, so I'm just giving them a shout out. But he only mentioned Uncharted. I don't know if he's doing Last of Us.
Oh no, here we go. Hannah Hart.
Okay.
Do you know who that is?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't either.
But he mentioned that pretty much everyone who did a voice on Uncharted will be on that panel from 1 to Lost Legacy.
Okay, and it looks like there's going to be There's gonna be a signing sessions for both of them.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe if they hand out some swag, some posters or something, he'll get some autographs. That'd be cool. Or maybe take their games, get games signed. And that's
Yeah.
it. That's it for Saturday. It doesn't look like there's anything for Sunday.
So Sunday, it's the Capcom Cup.
It's gonna be the
So,
Capcom all day.
Yeah, so it's going to occupy where they have the panels. So it's going to be an all day thing. And it looks like this year the prize is $370,000. Yeah, it's crazy, right? To play a game. So
I just wish that stuff was around when we were kids.
yeah,
I was pretty good at some of these games, and you just play and you're like, okay, you just stop. Like there was no reason to keep going. And then now you look like, man, these guys have, they're kind of the point they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. If I was a kid, I might have, studied them on them. I don't know. Who knows what we could have done, right?
yeah. So like our buddy Chris, he was really good at Street Fighter 2, right?
Yeah. Chris was really good. He got invited to a couple tournaments and he didn't go.
Oh.
He was just like, nah. And I remember telling him, I was like, dude, you should go and try. You never know. And he just was like, nah, I just play for fun.
Yeah.
I was like, man. Yeah, I know. I was like, come on, dude. What did it say what time it starts?
For what?
The Capcom Cup?
It starts at 2 p.m. So I guess in the morning they don't have anything there. You can just sit there and hang out, But the tournament starts at 2, and I think it goes until like 6, like they did last year.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, I don't want like last year we kind of saw him playing, but I think we didn't really start watching it till the very end, like the semis. Yeah. I think so. Probably do that again. Probably walk around Sunday, check out all the games, and get as much swag as we can, and then probably finish the day off by checking out the championship.
Yep. So every year since the beginning of PSX, they have these cards that they have for these different stations or booths that you go to demo. So the first year in Vegas, they had a deck of playing cards, so 52 cards that were distributed all throughout the convention, like the show.
Right.
And my brother and I, we collected all of them. We actually got all 52 cards. So we've just been like addicted to collecting them. And in the past two, when it was in San Francisco and last year in Anaheim, we split up and we were also able to collect all of them. So this year we're most likely going to try to do it again. And like it's really fun to collect all of them, but it's like keeping me from going to see the panels, so it kind of sucks. But I'm addicted to it, so I don't know. Like I've gone this far, I'm gonna have to keep collecting.
Yeah. I'm looking here and it says that last year where they had the panels, they extended it, so that's all going to be floor space too, and all the programming is going to be in the arena. Have you?
Yeah, so the round arena, right?
Yeah, the big auditorium.
Yeah.
So the programming is all going to be in there this year. That's cool.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm looking here and they're saying that they'll have more games, and there's going to be, like it says, massive interactive environments. So God of War, Detroit, and Days Gone are going to have huge environments to check out.
Yeah, for Uncharted, they recreated the attic for Nathan Drake. So I don't know. I'm excited to see how that's going to look.
Yeah, and I'm looking here and it says God of War is going to have they're going to have a frozen tundra to check out
with real ice and snow.
I got to take a jacket. And it says you'll be able to visit the frozen tundras of God of War, learn the backstory about his son. You could take a photo recreating the box art. Okay. And it says if you're really daring and a true fan, they will have a makeover station where they'll shave your head, paint your face, and dress you up as Kratos. Yeah. That's insane right there. I'm not as buff as I was last year. I might have done it.
It's crazy. Like these conventions now, they have these kind of things. Um, so just like going off topic a little bit. Like a few years ago, we waited in line for Game of Thrones, and they had like these tattoo artists like giving away free tattoos with, you know, like Game of Thrones like family emblem stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was crazy too. It's like a real tattoo.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was thinking of doing it because if you did that, you got to skip the line.
Yeah.
But they ended up being so backed up. But the tattoo artists they didn't expect them to be taking so long, and they were so backed up that it didn't matter. It was the same wait time.
Yeah. I mean, that's something you don't want them to rush through anyway, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, you know, there's a shitty tattoo just so you can skip a few hours.
yeah. So I don't have any tattoos on me, and I didn't want that to be my first tattoo.
I was down. I asked, and then another thing is, you can only have it in specific locations.
Right.
And I'm already like, it was like my right arm or my right shoulder. I'm like, okay, well that's covered. My left arm or left shoulder, that was covered. My upper back, okay, that's covered. And then it was like the only spot left was like a tramp stamp or or on my calf. And I was like, no, I don't want that on my calf. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't do it. There's another the Shadow of the Colossus. They're building a full scale Colossus bust, and you can climb up on the back.
Wow.
Yeah, this stuff looks insane. Now I'm getting more excited.
Where are you seeing all this stuff?
It's on the PlayStation blog.
Okay.
Yeah, this thing looks huge. You can climb up, and you can. It says you can plunge a sword into his head. Take a picture. And then for Days Gone, they're gonna have a 12-foot tall bear. And freakers, I guess that's what they're gonna be calling zombies.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like they're gonna scare you though. It says
Is it like a maze or what?
I don't know. It says you'll encounter massive 12-foot tall infected bears and hordes of freakers. So this area is not for the faint of heart. I'm looking right here, and there's I can see some of the sculpting where they're making the suits. I'm assuming there's gonna be I don't know. These look a little too small to be for actors. Maybe they're just gonna be like floating statues. Yeah. Either way, that looks pretty good.
Yeah, nothing scary like bears, right?
Yeah. And then there's another. It's a game called The Inpatient VR game, and it says that they created a sanitarium. Step right up as our orderlies come out to greet you, seat you in a wheelchair, then wheel you indoors into a psych ward room for your play experience. That's a VR game. And that's all they have right now, but man, this looks really crazy. I didn't see this before. This is this is getting me kind of excited to go. Hundreds of playable game units. A bigger PlayStation retail store, so that's gonna be for you, Brian.
Yeah.
40 limited edition items you can't get anywhere else. And for the first time, they'll feature an exterior store with extended hours in the courtyard between the Marriott and Hilton hotels. Man, they're trying to get your money.
Yeah. So that one's probably open to the public, right? So you're just there. Who didn't get a badge? They just want to hang out outside. They
Yeah.
go to the store,
It's gonna be in the courtyard, so it's probably where like the food trucks and stuff normally are.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it says the arena, a big lineup of panels and other special programming. And then Sunday, all the eyes shift to the Capcom Cup. So, yeah, that looks pretty fun. I can't wait to go. I liked last year's a lot, and this year looks like it's gonna top it. So,
Well, just a little quick story. Like, you were supposed to go to the first one in Vegas, but it was like around your birthday, right?
yeah, it was on my birthday.
Yeah. So, I was listening to IGN Beyond at the time, and Greg Miller and Colin were saying like if you just email them like very specific rules, email them, and then you could win tickets to go, and I won tickets for the two of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you couldn't go, so my brother went, and yeah, it was pretty cool then. Like EA had a UFC game there, and they had some of the fighters like there signing autographs. And the funny thing was like a lot of people didn't know who they were, like because they're all gamers,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Misha Tate and like Matt Hughes were there, like really cool like people, just no one was there, so we could just like just hang out and talk to them. And they were raffling off tickets for UFC, whatever number it was in Vegas, and yeah, my brother and I didn't win, but that would have been like the perfect ending for that day to just go to PSX and then just go to the fights afterwards.
Yeah, that would have been cool if we got free tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been really cool. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was because we knew. I think we knew it was going to be in December and they didn't say what date, something like that.
Right.
It was just in December, and then so you got the tickets, and then it was like, oh, it's December 6th, and I was like, oh man, that's my, we already made plans with my family and stuff, so I missed it that year, and then the next year it moved to San Francisco, and you were already up there in Frisco, weren't you?
Yep.
Yeah, so you and your brother went there, and I was like, man, I'm never gonna be able to go. And then last year they announced it would be in Anaheim, so I was like, yeah, got all excited. Then announced it's there again this year. So I don't know if it was just a 2-year thing or if Anaheim's gonna be the permanent.
I hope they'll move it back to San Francisco, but if the Game Awards become a bigger thing every year, it's in LA, they're going to just keep it. It's like the perfect thing to go hand in hand, right? Game Award and then PSX, both in LA. So if they continue this kind of schedule, then they'll probably just keep it down in LA for a long period of time. So
Yeah, because I mean, they're all the game creators and celebrities and stuff. They're all already in LA, so might as well just keep it Anaheim so they can just drive down.
yeah,
They do all the stuff tonight, and then tomorrow it gives them the day to move everything down there and get all situated, and then change hotels, and then just stay there for the rest of the weekend. So I mean,
right.
I don't know. We'll see if Anaheim stole this like they steal this like they stole WonderCon from San Francisco.
Yeah, and they added a new like a new building, right, to the convention center, so they made it bigger or something.
It was already big. I don't know. Maybe there was a lot of construction going on in the last couple of years, so maybe they did. Maybe they expanded it, but it was already big to begin with, and with it being close to Disneyland and stuff, and all the hotels, it's actually a really good spot for conventions.
Right.
They can handle all the tourism. Really, that's their top selling point is with all the hotels and restaurants and Disneyland and downtown Disney, and you have the Anaheim Garden Walk. Like, there's a ton of stuff to do in that area, so that's their top selling point. And they've been trying to get Comic-Con for a few years now, but it hasn't happened. San Diego won't let that go, but they were able to get WonderCon, and now hopefully we'll see what happens with PSX if it just stays here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it being back in Anaheim, since that gives me an excuse to go back home. So, like, I don't mind it at all.
Yeah.
Just keep.
So with the PlayStation experience coming up and the Video Game Awards, you guys can tell that we're big game fans, and it's the end of the year, so we've had a year of great games, and we wanted to kind of talk about the top ones, what our favorite were this year. Brian's played a little more. He has a little more wider range. He has a Switch and an Xbox, but I don't think you played any Xbox games though, right? Just Switch and PlayStation.
I bought the Xbox probably 4 or 5 months ago, mainly for the 4K player, the 4K Blu-ray player. But I did get Sunset Overdrive, which I have not started yet, and Gears of War 4.
Okay.
Recently, so that's probably it. And I'm going backwards now. I started playing Red Dead a little bit, but I'm still in the beginning of the game, so I wouldn't even count that. But that's that's on PlayStation as well. So those are really the only games I've played on the Xbox.
So on PlayStation, there were a few big games this year. Uncharted Lost Legacy just came out about a month or two ago. That was a pretty big DLC. Evil Within 2 came out in October. probably the biggest game was probably, or not probably, but it was Horizon back in March. I'm playing Evil Within 2 right now. I'm almost done. I want to say I'm probably 85 to 90% done with that game. Uh, so it's long enough. I guess I can give a short review on it. The first one was oversaw. I forget his name, but he was kind of like the game runner for Resident Evil 4, which is one of the best Resident Evil games. I love that game, and he had left Capcom a little shortly after that. Developed Evil Within 1. I loved Evil Within 1. He had promised that it would return more to survival horror, and he didn't quite get there. The game is scary. Creatures are scary, and then it made you jump a few times, but there's still a lot of action in it. So it was more Resident Evil 4-ish, but still good, like in a good way. This one, I think he has like a producer credit on it, but he's not as involved. And this game, it's still a good game, but not as good as the first one. I think the story has a lot to do with it. The story in the first one was that there was a guy, his name was Ruvik. He was the antagonist of the game, who was badly injured as a kid. He was in a fire and his body was wrecked. And as he got older, he came into a lot of money. Killed his parents and stuff to inherit money. And he was funding research to develop this program called STEM, where you can link in with your minds. You kind of go into the matrix. And what he was trying to do was he was trying to find a suitable host to kind of jump his consciousness into their body to get a new body, like a fit body. So the story in that was pretty interesting as the game went on, and you're discovering all this stuff from the past. And in this one, you play the same character from the first one, and they bring you this corporation that was investigating this guy. They need you to come back in because they were developing their own program called STEM, and something went wrong, and they wanted someone with the experience to come in. So they force you in there. They have your daughter and stuff, so you have to go back in to save the daughter. And so the story's a little bland. It's not as compelling as the first one, and the level design was a little weaker compared to the first one. There was some really crazy stuff in that first game. Like you ended up in various locations. Like there was an ancient castle in Spain type looking structure. There was a level where you're driving on the streets in a bus and you're shooting up all the creatures that try and jump on the bus, and just a lot of real exciting stuff like that. And this game was a little bit more straightforward. You're in a fake town. It's kind of like a small suburban town, and it's become haunted, kind of, and monsters everywhere. So I mean, it's still good, but I don't get that same. I don't feel the same. Like they really pushed the boundary in the first game, and this one I don't really get that. Still a good game though. It's a beautiful game. The graphics, it looks great. The monster designs are really creepy. I don't know who comes up with that stuff, but they're really, really freaky stuff. Plays well, everything. Controls are great. Lower the difficulty on this one. The first game was really hard. Like there was 3 or 4 times where I got mad and throw my controller down. Not so much on this game. This game is there were some spots that are a little hard, but not like that. So I'm able to progress a little faster in this game. So I'm almost done. Like I said, 85, 90%. Still a good game. If the first game, and I really like that first game. I think the first game I would give it like an 8.5 if I'm using an IGN scale. This one I would knock it back a little, maybe 7.5 or an 8. Still a good game though. I liked it, and it always comes out at a good time, right at Halloween and stuff. So playing that right now, and as soon as I'm done, I'll be jumping on to Battlefield 2, which Brian's gonna let me borrow. So Brian, why don't you go over Battlefield a little bit?
Battlefront. I get them mixed up.
Yeah, I get mixed all the time. I said Battlefield because my roommate was playing. He was playing Battlefield the other day.
Okay.
Yeah, I was leaving. And I was like, hey, he was trying to do something. I forgot what he was trying. He was trying to get a trophy or something. So yeah. So Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Okay, so I'll try to avoid spoilers since you haven't played it yet. But the game, there's a lot of controversy before the game came out about the whole loot crate thing. But playing this game, having these like loot crates, like buying these superheroes, like the heroes that you can use in multiplayer, doesn't really give you that much of an advantage. I guess like if everyone were pros, then I would say yes. But as a normal player like myself, even if I was given like the heroes to use, I would still get killed right away, just because I'm not good enough in the game. But um, the single player campaign, it takes place in between episodes. I want to say 4 and 5, or it's either 6 or 7. Now that I think about it, I think it's like after Return of the Jedi. Yeah, that's it. So, um, but the gameplay itself is not that good. I just came from playing Destiny 2 and then switching to this game, and the shooting mechanics, the feel of the game, it doesn't feel good. After you've played Destiny for so long. I mean, there's a lot of hate on Destiny, but the shooting mechanics is like the best first person shooter game that I've ever played. So going from that to Battlefront 2, controls are really bad. But that's how all the DICE games are. Even when I jump in and I play Battlefield 1, the World War One game, the controls are pretty much the same. But the story's not that good as well. But John, I still want you to play it just because you're a Star Wars fan, and there is something to get out of it from the story. But outside of that, like I would recommend just play through it once and throw the game back to me like the next week since you're coming back. But yeah, it's not that good. Like out of 10, I would give it like a 6 or 7. Not even a 7, like 6.
A 6.
Yeah, it's barely playable. Like, but it's not awful though. Just because it's Star Wars. But if it was not Star Wars and they wrapped that game around a different skin, like I would have given it a 3 or something. It's that bad. It's just that putting the Star Wars name in front of it, it boosts the score up by 3 points. So,
there's probably a lot of really cool moments in there and stuff, right?
There are. I mean, the graphics is like it's amazing. It looks like you're watching the movie, and the cutscenes and some of the gameplay. It feels like it has that film grain feel to it. So if they try to make it like it's a film, like its own side story, like Rogue One or something like that. But the game is just not fun, and there's some levels that are just weird. You're not always controlling the main character throughout the entire game. There's moments where you're controlling someone else in the Star Wars universe, and I've joked with you a few times about this one level where you're Luke Skywalker and you're just swinging at bugs for like 10 minutes. It's really stupid, but you have to do it just to get through the story. And so maybe when we do our next video game podcast, you can give us your view on what you think about the game after you play it.
All right, yeah, all right, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, they did drop like one huge nugget in there in the story that we can talk about. I mean, I googled this thing online, and other people have talked about it too. So yeah, so once you play it, then we can talk about it.
All right. And the game that I'm looking forward to after that is, and it's been out a little bit now, but is the Horizon DLC that came out like a couple weeks ago. That was my favorite game of the year so far. Huge world, huge map. It kept me going for a long time. I was playing that game for a long time, and I didn't even play as much as you did. You platinumed that game, didn't you?
Yep, I did.
Yeah.
So I think I logged about 70 plus hours on that game. So, yep.
Yeah.
It was worth every minute. I mean, that game is really good.
Yeah. No, that's a great game. It was an interesting story. The story kept me wanting to keep playing because I want to know what the heck. I mean, it looked like these people were back in the Stone Age, but yet there was robot animals walking around, some robot dinosaurs. They had tech, so it was like, what happened? How did humanity get to this point? And you find that out as you play through the game, but everything about that was great. It looked amazing. The fighting and the action scenes were. Or not scenes, but parts of the game were fun because you're using bows and arrows, but they're all techie and they have special abilities and stuff. And then So and you can do things. You can override. You can hack the dinosaurs and the robots, and you can hack them, and they could fight for you or give you power ups and stuff. And yeah, just super creative. That game was really creative. I really liked it. The voice acting was really good. You know, there was enough open world stuff to keep you going after the game was over, or even when the game is going, you can do stuff on the side and you know, explore. There was a big side mission that you did where you can get like this really powerful set of armor, and I looked into it and I was like, oh man, that's so much other stuff. I want to keep the story going, so I didn't do it. Although you said that armor helped a lot.
Yeah, you're pretty much invincible once you have it.
Yeah, I might, you know, with this DLC, maybe I'll go back to that mission and see if I can do it or not. But I was super excited to finish that game. There's a cliffhanger. They left it open, and now there's a DLC where we're going into the north part of the world. That part of the map was locked during the game. You didn't explore it. So yeah, so that game, man. I mean, I gave that game a 10 out of 10 like immediately after, you know, as I was playing it. Although this game is just great. I can't wait. You know, this game was like, it was kind of like Uncharted and Last of Us and Red Dead and Witcher for me, in that I want more. I just want more. I just want to keep playing. Eventually you can, the game ends, but that's the level of excitement this game got for me.
Yeah, I agree. Like, so whenever I play a game that's really good, first thing I do is I look at the trophy list and see if it's possible to get the platinum trophy for it. And if it is possible, then I'll spend the time to do it. So with the platinum list, you don't need to do every single thing to get the platinum trophy, but you do have to do almost all of it. And it's doable. Like, if you spend enough time on it, you can do it too. It's not those things where you have to be really skilled or have luck to land the trophy. Like, these are things that you just have to play the game to get. So like now, like right now I'm playing Assassin's Creed Origin, and that game is very similar to Horizon, but you know, in a way that that's pretty standard to Ubisoft now. So with that game, that's very much like the old traditional Assassin's Creed games, but they also added a little bit of Far Cry, a little bit of the primal version where you're like hunting animals and stuff. So they took all the good things from all their Ubisoft games, you know, even Watch Dogs, and they put it all in this one game, and they spent 2 years making it versus like what they were doing before every year. And this is a game that I really love too. Like, I finished the story a couple days ago, but I still want to go back and play it. But it's just that I've been playing the Destiny expansion right now, so there's just so many like good games out this year. Just I don't even know where to go next. I have to like prioritize like what I want to play next.
Yeah, and then you played Zelda, and you even have you played Mario.
Yeah.
And haven't gotten to Zelda yet, because if you go to the Zelda world, that's it. We're not gonna see Brian for a long time.
Yeah. So another reason why I haven't started that, haven't like I didn't dive in too deep, is because the controls are a little bit funky compared to Assassin's Creed, and I forgot how Horizon's controls are too, but that one is a little bit weird too. So like, I can't be jumping around these three games easily, so I have to just stick with one, and then when I'm done, and then I'll start the next one and adjust to the controls for that one, and then just go from there, versus playing all three at the same time.
And another game that you put a lot of time into, and I refuse, I just won't do it, was Final Fantasy.
Yep. So I platinumed that game too. That one, I think I put in like 100 hours, so probably like 20 hours just fishing. So last time you were up here, I'm trying to sell you on the game, and what I do is I show you the fishing part.
I'm like, so what is it? And you're like, no, I'm just fishing. And I'm like, do you get stuff? And you're like, yeah, kind of.
I need it for the platinum trophy. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'll pass.
Yeah. It's good in its own way. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the best Final Fantasy game, but I did enjoy playing it. So I wouldn't put it anywhere near the top game of the year for me. So
Yeah, yeah, it's yeah, a lot of good games this year. And also with getting me excited is that there are a lot of games coming out next year. Spider-Man is coming for PlayStation. God of War, which I love God of War. I played the crap out of those games, so I'm hoping to see a lot of that this weekend. And Red Dead Redemption 2, which I love the first Red Dead. I bought it from Brian years ago. Played the crap out of it. I did not expect to like that game so much. That was supposed to have been out already. It got pushed back, got delayed a little bit, which is fine. That if they're gonna take a little bit more time to polish it, I'm all for it. I don't really mind when games get delayed like that. It'll be all the better for it in the end. Last of Us 2, which I don't think it'll be out next year. I'm still seeing like job postings and stuff to work on that game. So I don't think it'll be out next year, but I'm looking forward to it. I know it's coming. And I think that's it. Am I forgetting anything? Oh, Death Stranding. They haven't made a game. They haven't made a release date for that either, right?
no, but
No.
that one's probably gonna be like 19 or 20.
Yeah, I don't think that's coming next year either. But right, just God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead 2, those three right there is those are big games. They're good. God of War really wasn't open world, but we'll see about this one. I know they're updating it instead of they had kind of like a pre-rendered camera last time. This one looks like it was like overhead and it zoomed in and out. This one looks like it's going more to the more now standard over the shoulder style. So maybe they'll change it up and maybe they'll add some open world to it. Last time it wasn't. They were very straightforward. So if they add some open world elements to this one, that'd be cool. Red Dead was huge. So I'm expecting Red Dead 2 to be just as big. And then Spider-Man, I'm hearing it, there is some open world, right? I don't know if it's all open world, but there is some. So
Yeah, I think it's going to be some sort of sandbox where you're swinging around like Manhattan. So yeah, there might be something. I don't think it's very linear where you go from mission to mission.
right. So that's three really big games, and just in size alone. So just having those three next year is pretty exciting. And I still have a few games to finish this year. Like I'll finish up Evil Within. I gotta play Battlefront. Call of Duty just came out. I want to check that one out. I heard it's pretty good. Went back to the World War II style. And the Horizon, the DLC of which I'm looking forward to because it was, the first main game was so good. How long was the DLC? Like 10, 15 hours?
For which one?
For Horizon?
So I haven't played it yet, but it's supposed to be about 10 to 15 hours.
Okay. So that's another good sized game.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about the Witcher games, where one expansion was like 10, 15, and the other one was like 20, 25. So it was another full on game for like $10. So really, really cool stuff. I like that they do that. Guerrilla Games is already. No, is it Guerrilla? Yeah, it sounds like Guerrilla was getting ready to get another Killzone going too. So I think that's still way early. I doubt we'll see something like that this weekend. But I'm a big.
What do you think about that though? Like, do you want them to work on a Killzone, or do you want them to work on a Horizon 2?
I have a feeling they'll probably have two teams on it. If Horizon is going to be their next huge franchise, they're probably going to have a dedicated team just to Horizon. But I don't know. We'll see. I like Killzone. Killzone was some. I played all the Killzones, and they're really good.
Yeah, I've played all of them from you. Like I borrowed them from you.
Yeah, yeah.
They are pretty good.
Yeah.
I've even played the Vita version, and that one was surprisingly like really good for a handheld game. So, but I'm not sure if Guerrilla made that one or not. But it was a Killzone game.
I don't think so. I think that was oh no no no. I'm thinking of Ready at Dawn. They worked on the Gears of War handheld. And they came
Okay.
out with the Order 1886.
Right.
Did you play that one?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, did you buy it or?
Yeah, I got it for when it was on sale, like for 15 or 20 bucks.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, me too. You told me about that sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it for like $15, and man, that sucks. That was a game looked great,
Yeah.
looked really great, and the graphics were good, and I really liked that story. That was a really interesting story. How Knights of the Round Table have never went away. They've always stuck around, and they fight off werewolves and vampires and stuff like that, like the supernatural.
Yeah, and each one of them inherited one of the Knights of the Round, the characters' names, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
that was really cool too.
Yeah, and I was like, man, this is really, really interesting. And in this game, you fought werewolves, and um, they were trying to awaken a vampire. Remember? And you're like, they're trying to. The order's like, no, we can't have vampires running around. They're too dangerous, and they're left on a cliffhanger. Um,
Right.
but the game was like 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah.
I remember the controls weren't too great, and then even the weapons were really unbalanced.
Right.
There were some weapons that were really powerful, and some that were just useless. And that ended up killing. I don't know. It didn't kill the studio. The studio's still around, but it was a Sony studio, like Naughty Dog or Santa Monica. It was affiliated with Sony, and Sony dropped them after that, and they went back to being like an indie company, and they're still around. They're actually out here in Irvine, but I don't know what games they're working on. I have no clue what they're up to, and it's too bad. And the IP stayed with Sony, but Sony's like, we're not gonna do anything. It's kind of like a dead IP, which sucks because I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah,
I thought a lot of potential.
they added like the I don't know what the right term is. Like when you shoot stuff, like things would break. So
Right.
it
Yeah.
wasn't static, right? So everything that you shot, it responded. So that was really cool. But the shooting part of the game was just really weird, right? Like you said, it was like the weapons are imbalanced. Like if they point or they guide you in the area to use this gun, like you use that gun because it's like the most powerful one in that area. And then you just go through that area, and then you just move on. Um, but yeah, like it left on a cliffhanger, and we'll never know how it continued. But yeah, it's a waste of a pretty good story.
Yeah, it was. It was interesting. I thought it had a lot of potential going for it, but oh well, dropped the ball on that one. But yeah, so we got some big stuff coming PSX. Where I'm excited. What time you flying in tomorrow?
Probably like around 11:30. So I just checked into my flight like 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
So
And what time you bouncing on Sunday?
I think we have to head to the airport around 6. So right after the Capcom Cup, or close to it, close to the end, and we fly out of Long Beach, so it won't be too far.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Just go down to 91 for a little bit.
Yeah.
And last year was kind of like that too, right? Like you guys kind of just jet. You guys had to go.
Yeah. Yeah, we went over to your place to go in one car, and then like right after we left from your place, we went straight to the airport.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty funny. But yeah, I'm excited. PSX is here. Um, oh, the Game Awards. Is there a list? We can run down the winners real quick.
Yeah, it's on the internet somewhere.
Let's see. So I was looking for it earlier, right when we started the podcast, and they hadn't put anything up with just a list of winners. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Winners. A lot of new games were announced. Okay, here we go. So Right when we started, Brian mentioned it. Zelda won Game of the Year. Best Game Direction, Zelda again. Best Narrative, What Remains of Edith Finch. Is that a PC game? That's a PC game, right?
I think so. It's like an indie game. It's on, yeah, I think it's on Steam, and you can also play it on a PS4.
Okay. I don't know too much about that game. Best Art Direction, Cuphead, which that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game looks amazing as the old 1930s animated style.
Yeah, that's one game I would play on the Xbox, but I heard it's really hard.
Yeah.
So that's what's holding me back.
The game looks great though. So best art direction, I'm not surprised that it beat out, big AAA games like Horizon and Zelda and Mario, and this small indie game beat it. So pretty cool. Best score music, Nier Automata. Did you play that one or no?
I did. I think it's overrated. But some people really love that game. I just don't get it. So let me just talk about the game really quick. So you play from at least two different points of view for a whole event. So let's say the whole event takes place in one day. You first play as the girl character, and then so once you finish that, you play through her story, and then the game starts over again, and you start over as a boy, as a guy, and you get his point of view. So the cool thing about this game is that it switches modes seamlessly. So meaning like you'd be running like a 3D, like a platform type game, and then the camera angle will change. It becomes like an airplane shooter, like playing Raiden or one of those like, you know what I mean, right? Like those shooting games where like they just spray you with bullets.
Yeah.
And then right after that, it kind of like the camera just pans, and then you get off the ship, and it becomes like a open world game. Like, it's all seamless. So that part's really cool. But the enemies you fight, they're mostly like these bucket looking like robots, and like that part I didn't find too interesting. But I mean, I can see why it's popular with a lot of people. I mean, it's definitely different, but like I think it's overrated from my point of view. Like when I finished the game, I was like, I'm good.
Yeah,
I don't play this anymore.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Best audio design, Hellblade. Don't know that game. Best performance, Melina Juergens from Hellblade. Games for Impact, Hellblade. Probably a game I should look up. Best ongoing game, Overwatch. Best independent game, Cuphead. Mobile game, Monument Valley 2. Best handheld game, Metroid. Best VR, Resident Evil 7, which I played and I loved it. I don't have VR, or else I would have played in VR.
Man, must be really scary to play. And I don't think they have the 3-hour like cooldown, right, for VR for this game. Like you can just play the whole game through with the VR headset if you want.
I'm not sure. I don't know, but that would have been crazy to play in VR.
Yeah.
That's a scary game.
Yeah.
Action game, Wolfenstein 2. Action adventure game, Zelda. Role-playing game, Persona 5. Fighting game, Injustice 2. Family game, Mario. Strategy game, Mario plus Rabbids. Best racing game, Forza. Anticipated game, Last of Us Part 2. Trending gamer, Guy Beam, also known as Dr. Disrespect. I'm guessing he's a Twitch guy.
Yeah.
Best esports, Overwatch. Esports player, Lee Sang-hyuk, a.k.a. Faker. League of Legends. Esports team, Cloud9. Student Game Award, Level Squared. Best debut indie game, Cuphead. And then Chinese Fan Game Award, JX3HD. So those are all the winners from today's Game Awards. Not surprised Zelda cleaned house. Kind of sucks that Horizon didn't win anything, but when you come out the same year as Zelda and Mario, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah. So I would have put Assassin's Creed Origins in there too. Like that game is really good.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not hyping it enough. I think the game came out kind of late, so and then Mario came out pretty late too, and it got on there.
That's probably why though. It came on around the same time as Mario, so
yeah.
And that's kind of what happened with Horizon. It came out the same week within a week of Zelda. So although I think Horizon was so anticipated that people still talked about it for a while. Assassin's Creed is kind of like, it's Assassin's Creed, another one.
Yeah.
Came out at the same time as Mario, so it's kind of forgotten, even though if it is really good. But yeah, so that's our recap of the Game Awards, and we'll see some new stuff this weekend. I'm excited. We'll have to do our another podcast of our of what we see of at PSX, and then we'll be putting up pictures and videos up on our Instagram, so you guys can check it out.
Yeah. So after this weekend, next week you're coming up here, right? To watch the 49ers game and also watch Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Yep. 1 week. I'm excited.
So, yeah, maybe we can record one or both about 2 pods on there without this like having me dial in kind of.
Yeah.
audio quality will be superb.
Yeah, I'll bring my Surface up there and we can record live in studio. Which we haven't been able to do that since I think our Wonder Woman podcast. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. We'll be recording next week. Couple of podcasts. We'll go over this PSX and we'll let you know what we think about Star Wars. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.